Roll call.
Bowen. Here. Pryor.
Here.
Donahue. Elliott. Burr.
Here.
Myers. Here. Nowacki.
Here.
Engel.
Here.
And Raver. You're good. You're good. Right.
Okay, new business, minutes. Everybody have a chance to look those over? Anybody have any questions about those? Somebody like to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January meeting.
I'll second that.
Do you call for the vote or do I?
Yeah, just all those in favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I guess we're right on to item B, Boise Pathways Plan, Superintendent Arnold.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I'd like to request that we move item B below item C and have committee updates first, if that's okay with all of the committee. Okay, I don't know if we need to vote for that or whatever, okay. Couple of updates. So first off, I wanted to just loop back around with you all after you approved the recommendation to fund the BSU carbon sequestration study. We did send your recommendation and the application to council through a Friday memo and didn't receive any negative feedback. So we are good to move forward. Our partners at BSU are working on drafting an initial agreement that meets their standards. And our next step is to really iron out the terms of the partnership. And then that agreement will go to council for approval. And at the same time, the funding request will go to council for approval. So I don't know when that's gonna happen yet. It probably will be a couple of months, my guess is, just to hash out the details. But I just wanted to let you know, your recommendation is moving ahead. So nicely done, everyone. The other thing I wanted to let you know, I have some news. So I am moving into a new role with the city. It's okay, I'm not going far. I'll be running the Parks Division. The previous park superintendent has moved to Minnesota with her whole family. And we wish her a lot of luck. She did a great job while she was here, and I have big shoes to fill. But I am doing both jobs for now. I like that Pete just rolled his eyes, he knows that pain.
Yeah. And I know, or we just said, if you get a new job, you get to keep your old one.
That's right. Well, although to be honest, I don't actually mind, because I love this work too, so it's okay. I anticipate that I will be the liaison for this committee until my position is filled. And we'll continue to work on all the things that we are working on. So I don't think anything will really slow down too much, because, you know, we function so well, I think, as a group. And, you know, I'm still here if you have questions or want to talk about anything that we're doing. Just because my title is going to be different for the meantime doesn't mean much. So we'll keep you up to date on how this position gets filled. It is currently advertised internally. We have 4 great internal candidates who would use this as a promotion. And I think that's awesome to be able to provide people with some professional development opportunities. So that closes this Friday. Doug is leading the charge to hire that new position, and I'll be a part of the hiring committee.
Mr. President, you can blame me for her moving over to our division. And that actually is a joke. This is a great opportunity for Sarah. She's been in this role as the open space, or Foothills and open space superintendent for 7 years. She has done an amazing job, has taken it way beyond the scope of the level that we were at. And so she said she's filling big shoes. Whoever takes her role is absolutely going to be doing that. This also gives us an opportunity to create a stronger, not that there wasn't before, but even a more stronger bond, if you will, in relationship between our park division and our Foothills and open space division. Not just because Sarah came from that area and wants to still continue to have, not necessarily she won't have input in running it, but how it continues to integrate into the overall department. But she sees how the two departments can work even better and more efficiently together. I should have said departments, but two divisions. And particularly the presentation that you're going to hear now on our pathways plan, that was Sarah's expertise in what she did in the foothills, acquiring land, acquiring easements, and developing a pathway system. And so that transfers directly into what is one of our highest priorities right now in our department. It probably will be commission members for the next couple of decades. At the end of the day, I mean, it took 50 years to construct the green belt. This pathways plan is going to be very similar in connectivity throughout the community. And so Sarah's expertise in what she did in our open space with our open space team is going to be very beneficial on our park side as well. So we welcome her with open arms. She knows our department very well. She's familiar with everything to do with the city in her previous role. So it's a good move for her, a very good move for us. And we will fill the open space, foothills open space position with someone that will be highly qualified and will also take this role and will be between that person and myself will be your contacts within the city. Sarah's always going to stay engaged in a lot of the activity that we have. So anyway, I just wanted to thank her for all the work she's done and the work she's done with you over the past 5 years now with this committee.
That's right.
So anyway, but she's not going anywhere. She'll be
So thank you. Okay, so the pathways plan, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I'll just move along. So last time when we met, well, actually two months ago, when you approved the new conservation criteria, when the mayor come visit us, you requested that we come back with a more deep dive into what the pathways plan is hoping to achieve and how it intersects with the conservation criteria that you all have newly updated. Trevor Kessner is on Teams. He is our parks planner. He is brilliant, and I rely on him, and I know Jennifer relied on him for helping us navigate the world of planning and development and how it intersects with parks and pathways and how we try and, you know, create connections where we can and condition developments to mandate those connections if possible. Trevor and I have actually been working together for a long time, so I'm really excited to work with him more closely, especially on this project. So, Trevor, if there's any opportunity you want to take to provide some detail as we move through this plan, or if I can't answer anything, please don't hesitate to jump in, okay?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Sarah.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna do it. The master plan should be a little bit of familiar to you given the work you did to update the criteria, but we're gonna go over the general hopes and dreams and then get into what we are really striving to achieve in the near term. Obviously, we have many different types of pathways across the city of Boise, some of which are regional, some of which are neighborhood. Obviously, the plan focused on the urban types of pathways. I think the broader vision is to make sure that we have connectivity in the flat part of the city and the valley, and then connections up to the foothills, and lots of opportunity for people to get outside, be healthy, recreate safely. So this plan was the result of a year of work from our planning department folks. They did a lot of outreach, as you can see, surveys, conversations with neighborhoods, pop-up events, a lot of feedback from the community about what it means to them to have a safe pathway and what they want it to look like, where they want it to be. And last night, it was just approved by council to be included in our comprehensive plan, which really paves the way, so to speak, for
Nice.
implementation. I think a lot of people are equating this process to what happened 50 years ago with the Green Belt. There was a hope and a dream, and the plan provided the framework to achieve that dream. I think about it also is similarly to the Ridge to Rivers 10-year management plan. You know, people identified pathway connections they wanted to see, and that really helped me to identify priority areas for acquisition and priority areas for trails. So it's kind of exciting, and I was listening into the council meeting last night, and it was fun to see the excitement on our leadership about we're embarking on something that is historic and new all at the same time. So a lot of this is driven by our goal to provide all Boiseans with a 10-minute walk to a beautiful place to be. This proposal would add 110 miles of pathways all across the city. And that would get our service level up to providing 70%, 76% of Boiseans with that 10-minute walk. It's going to be a combination of newly created pathways, existing sidewalks and pathways, so it won't be like a one-size-fits-all, I guess, approach to identifying how we can make these connections. Obviously, we want to make them safe, low stress, and make sure that we're incorporating all of the other amenities that we enjoy, like trailheads and parks, and just make it easy for people and accessible for people. So the next steps, obviously, we got to do it. We need to get an implementation plan together, and that's what Trevor and I and our designer Wendy Larimore and a number of other people across different departments across the city are working on. The plan in and of itself was developed by the city. The connections required a partnership and collaboration of other agencies like irrigation districts, like surrounding cities, like the county, like utilities, because these pathways are going to, hit a lot of different people's property. It's even going to require a lot of coordination and partnership with private property owners. So I don't want to frighten you, but it's going to be an uphill kind of road, and it will take time. One of the things last night, and Trevor heard this too, the folks who testified, everybody wants it to happen as soon as possible because they're so excited about this. And I think, we're going to work really hard to get what we can get done, be flexible, and probably have sort of a puzzle piece approach to how we piece these pathway systems together, very similarly to what you've heard about with trails, right? So right now we're doing some of that coordination and collaboration with all those partners I mentioned, including the irrigation districts, and then working to identify those near-term implementation projects. And right now we have about a list of 7. Is that right, Trevor?
Yeah, it's 7 overall. There were basically some low-hanging fruit or some near-term projects that were identified within the plan. They proposed some cross sections and basically some connections that could be made if we string together maybe what an HOA or a subdivision has already created, basically making those vital connections. And once we get a couple of projects off the ground and constructed, just like the Greenbelt, once it starts, it's going to gain momentum and more people will be on board with it. So yeah, 7 total, I believe, is what they had brought forward, with 2, maybe 3 that we could get going on absolutely right now.
And so this is an example of one of those projects. This linear parking pathway at Goddard Road, and I apologize, this is a very detail-oriented map, but it's what I'm working with right now, so I'll try and explain it to you. The green section is what would be the linear park. Obviously, you see the pathway through there, right?
So that's Capitol High.
That's Capitol High School.
Yeah, all those buildings there are
Oh,
Capitol.
sorry, Capitol High, right here.
That's just
Hyatt Hidden Lakes is up here.
Okay.
Spalding Ranch is down here.
Yeah, it actually attaches to Capitol High.
That's right.
yeah, because it goes through the property.
So, and I'm working on a vicinity map. I'm sorry, I don't have it done yet. But the goal would be to work on getting this portion done because we have a good relationship with the irrigation district. They're interested in partnering with us. What we're thinking we would do is, here's the green space linear park with the pathway running through it. This pink is an easement that we would provide back to the irrigation company so that they could do their maintenance. They want to deed us this property, which is great. And then there would be a fence line separating the two. And it would take you across Goddard and up to a sidewalk, which you could then take up to Hidden Lakes. Obviously, there's some street crossings and we need to work out how we're gonna connect down to Spalding. But this is a big chunk and it would be a nice proof of concept for the irrigation districts because it would be the first time that we will have partnered with them at such a level. So this is already supported by the neighborhood. In fact, I've been having conversations over the past year with some of our folks in planning and some of these neighbors because they have been gearing up to submit an application to you for this project. So we have letters of support from the school district, we have letters of support from the neighbors, we have some matching funds from Energize, which is a funding program here within the city. So this project I wanted to show to you because I wanted to introduce to you because it will be coming to you in the next month or two as an application. I decided to just stick here for today because I feel like this is enough. We'll have a lot of questions. But the second project that Trevor and I are looking at initiating this year is another section of a larger alignment that includes Goddard lower down at Spalding Ranch. So any questions for Trevor or I about any of this or any of the plans?
So up there, where at the very top left where it cuts over then the street, so you're not gonna just follow the canal all the way to Maple Grove then?
We currently do not have the agreement to do that.
Okay,
So this is one of those pieces, right?
sure, I get it. I mean, I've been,
Yeah, and Mr. President, I think that what Sarah's planning on doing is let's get this. And then we can continue to go back to settlers to see if we can get that final connection.
Right.
But what this clearly could demonstrate to our commission and to the public is that this is a great example of how we can connect now, and the purpose of doing these connections, two parks to each other.
Right.
So we can connect what we're doing at Spalding Ranch all the way up to Hyatt Hidden Lakes. And you actually have that connection now. When we get the connection down to Spalding with the next priority, Sarah had mentioned the sidewalk. It's sidewalk out all the way, so that's a connection down to Maple Grove, even if we don't get to follow the canal. And then it's literally, there is a light at Goddard and Maple Grove, so you can cross Maple Grove at that location. And then it's about 2 blocks, maybe, it's all sidewalk though, down to Hyatt. And there's another light that you can cross, Mountain View, Northview, no, it's not, what's that road there? Anyway, McMillan.
McMillan.
Cross that and you're in Hyatt now. And so that's really probably a 15-minute, maybe 10-minute walk from here. So we can maybe make those connections on both sides. We're at a 10-minute walk to 2 different parks.
no, I get it, because this way you're not bugging any of the neighbors either.
Right.
No, and a lot of the irrigation ones are fortunate enough that they are separated because irrigation companies have done that purposely from a lot of neighborhoods. There are some that the neighborhoods back up to the actual road, the maintenance road along the irrigation canals. But so this working with the canals is going to be, if it just fell into place, would be the most awesome thing in the world. We know how difficult that is, but to get settlers to agree to this is a big deal. And it would demonstrate, as Trevor and Sarah pointed out earlier, it gives us something that now we can go back to and show how we're good stewards of managing relationship with the canal company, how the risk that they're concerned about, how we mitigate that, and how successful the connection will be. Then Farmers Union may be a little more open to what we want to do. Nampa Meridian might be more open to what we want to do. New York might be open to what we want to do. We're going to have to build, as Sarah has said, since she took over this relationship with this Pathways, it's all about building relationships with not just landowners, but we need to really strengthen that with the irrigation companies to be able to pull this off. Because a lot of these pathways, almost 80% of them probably are going to involve the irrigation companies. So this is a great example. If we get this done, is going to be a big testament to what we can do with future companies. So nice work, Sarah. She's been on the job for less than a week and she already got this done.
Trevor, you should tell Trevor, he's done a lot of it. And Wendy Larimore has been working with settlers, and they have a great relationship. And I was just on a call with, I don't even know what day it is or when that call was, but
Last week.
Was it last week? Thank you.
It was.
They were clearly looking to Wendy to tell them what we need. And that's perfect.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anything you want to add, Trevor?
Not at all. You did a brilliant job, Sarah. I think this is a really big deal. This is a really exciting plan to have in our pocket, not just for the developer-driven projects going forward, but just an opportunity to go to these irrigation districts or the canal companies or whoever might have the right of way or the easement to make those connections, and just asking them, what would it take? What would it take for us to help solve your liability issues or your fears that you're not going to be able to maintain your facility or convey the water? What will it take so we can create a win-win-win for all? And like Doug said, if we can get 2 or maybe even 3 successful projects on the ground, that will begin to create that momentum where more and more people will be willing to participate. So I'm excited.
I have a question. Do you have any idea what percentage of the canal banks are now closed? Because it seems like the vast majority, if they close that one off Phil Road, and I was up.
I don't have that number in my head. I don't know if Doug does or Trevor does.
It seems like most of them are closed.
Yeah, I would speculate, Mr. President, Commission members, they're all closed. They don't want people on them at all.
Yeah.
And so some have put up barriers to try to prevent that, but for the most part, they're all closed and they don't want you on them, and it's trespassing if you are. And they just don't.
No trespassing signs.
And so, that's why we gotta work with them to get this.
That's why this ease concept thing is so important.
Yeah, ease the concern that they have. They have 2 big concerns, and Trevor can address it way better than I can, but it's maintenance of what they have, and it's liability. Fear of something happening, and they're gonna be held liable. We can handle both of those. And so it's just proving that works in everybody's mind and in everybody's eyes.
Because getting out one of those canals, it's the concrete ones, you're screwed.
Right.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are, and that's why fencing is important,
Fast.
that's why the indemnification that we can provide to irrigation companies so that we have that access, and if something does ever happen to occur, they're not held liable, and getting their attorneys to understand that. And then we accept that liability, but that's what we're gonna have to do to make this work. There's no other way to do it.
Understandable. That would be nice, because that's such a crummy spot right along here.
It's horrible, yes, and if you're familiar with the commission members, some days there might be an old couch laying out there, at House on Capitol High. I've seen a mattress laying out there before. Capitol High Boise School District is just ecstatic about this, because it obviously creates an engaging place right across from the high school now, where there'll be turf and there'll be park over there, and right now, it's just a mud pit.
Yeah.
That'll turn into really a linear park, as Sarah stated, so they're really excited about it.
Okay, Mr. Chair, that was all I had. If you.
Are there any other ones you want to show us, or just that one?
I think we'll just stick with that one for now, if that's okay.
Okay.
I am more than happy to bring others forward as we develop better graphics, Cindy map, a little better proposal. This is the one that's farthest along in that design process. So, I don't really have much else to share yet.
Okay. Understand. So then we move on to executive session, correct?
That's right.
So am I supposed to read it or do I sign?
Vic's offer to read it, actually.
Oh.
We got it there.
All right, good.
Thanks, he's a good guy.
So pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206-1C, to acquire an interest in real estate which is not owned by a public agency, and Idaho Code 74-206-1F, to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated but imminently likely to be litigated.
So do I have to make a
I'll
motion?
second.
That's the motion, now we need a second.
Roll call, Bowen? Yes. Fryer?
Yes.
Donahue? Elliott?
Yes.
Ferber?
Yes.
Myers?
Yep.
Nowacki?
Yes.
Pengilly?
Yes.
And Rayber?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, at this time, any staff or attendees are welcome to hop off the call as we will move into executive session. Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks.
Motion to move out of executive session. You think I'd have this by now, 5 years later?
Executive session?
Motion to move out of executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll
One
second.
more roll call. Bowen? Yes. Cryer?
Yes.
Donahue? Elliott?
Yes.
Ferber?
Yes.
Myers?
Yeah.
Nowacki?
Yes.
Pengilly?
Yes.
And Rayber?
Yes.
Now a motion to adjourn. Mr. Chair?
So moved.
May I make a motion to adjourn?
You may. Is there a second?
I'll second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Cool.
Okay.
Never had.